Well, hi there, Minder. We're back at it again.
We're here again.
Part two, Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah. The Two Towers. Let's go.
The Two Towers. Oh shit!
And it's 9:30 p.m. So we're really playing with fire with Nikki's attention span.
Oh,
but she's been living more my sleep schedule life, and either staying up late or getting up super early. So
yeah. Last night was stay up late.
Yeah.
We were up to like 1:30ish.
Whereas I was the grandma and I fell asleep at like 7:30 in my recliner.
Right.
Like I did actively I'm just gonna lay down for a little bit. Like I didn't like fall asleep watching a TV like my grandpa or dad. But I did lay down at 7:30, woke up at like 10, messaged Nikki. She's like, "You should take yourself an allergy pill." I'm like, "I'm pretty sure I don't need it," and I didn't. I went to bed. I probably fell back asleep about like 10:30, 11 o'clock, and I slept quite a long time. Yeah.
I'm so proud of you.
I know, but it
only
took me completely exhausting myself for me to get to that point.
Yeah. Hi, we're a podcast. And we talk about neurodivergent shit, our experience with neurodivergent shit, and about being neurodivergent in this crazy ass world that we live in. Because we are two neurodivergent best friends traveling the neuroverse together. Because we are living in a neurotypical world and we are not neurotypical girls. Minder.
Yeah.
What are we talking about today? Oh, I'm Nikki and that's Amanda, by the way. We always forget to say that. Say hi, Amanda.
And this is the NDC podcast. Hi, Amanda.
Yeah, the NDC podcast. We forget that too. I don't think I said that last week either.
You did not. I almost said it, but I'm like, she said we're a podcast. They can figure the rest out.
Yep, bitch, you gotta interrupt me. You just gotta be like, listen, you didn't say what our name was.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, if you clicked on this, you know what our name is. But anyway, yeah, we're the NDC podcast. You can make up whatever you want for that acronym. It was the Neurodivergent Convergence podcast. It still is, technically. But it's a mouthful, and I don't like saying it all the time. So, NDC, easier. Neurodivergent Convergence, NDC. You make up the acronym. Don't care. Do what you want. Anyway, we're talking about the media today, yes?
Media and just kind of more about what's been going on. Because last time we kind of just talked about what happened at Trump's rally where he got pew-pewed.
Yeah.
So we're just kind of going more into the media, more into other events, mainly what's happened like in the past week. I think it's been a week since this happened. But yeah, that's where we're going with this. And our thoughts on it. Like we're informed, like we know that what's going on, but we're not like completely educated. We don't dive into like this is not our special interest. Like politics and stuff are not our special interest, so we don't dive too heavily into it. We just kind of give our thoughts of what we've seen happen.
Right.
Yeah.
So and just kind of our take on how we feel things are playing out as like two moderately informed humans, and how we're kind of feeling about things. Anyway, so we need to talk about you said you wanted to talk about Biden dropping out, right?
Yeah.
So I'll let you expound on that, but I'll just say I don't remember exactly what day it was announced, but I will say that threw me for a motherfucking loop. I was not expecting that.
Yeah, when I read it, all I read was like, good. And this is someone that voted for Biden. Like, I did vote for Biden, but it was more like I was voting against Trump. And so that was my thought process, which I know is terrible, but, it is what it is. And so I know, like, a lot of people were like, especially because after the debate, like, when he seemed like, they love calling him old. Like, I understand he is old, but, like, they never point out
not that much older than Trump.
Yeah, they're like 3 to 4 years apart in age.
Right.
So it's like they're acting like they're acting like Biden is like 90 years old, where Trump is like 40. I don't understand like why they're acting, because he acted that way in a debate. I know a lot of people were like, you should just drop out. I personally didn't think he would. I would hope he would, but I personally didn't think he would. But I'm glad he did. Yeah. It's like he basically, it's putting the country before his ego.
Correct.
So the whole the whole putting like, I don't think like Biden is particularly egotistical or prideful. He doesn't strike me as that.
Right.
So he seems like genuinely like a good guy. Like, he just seems like, yes, he's had his failings, he's a politician, whatever, blah blah. But as a person, he just seems like he'd be nice. And so, like a grandpa, you know? But there's me calling him old. But he is. So
Yeah, I mean,
but it's so he just
yeah.
he basically, I wouldn't mind being in a room with him versus being in a room with Trump. Like Trump, like I said, Trump just has to talk for 30 seconds and I already get a migraine.
Right.
But him dropping out, I'm like making, and I'd said this in the last episode, but I'm gonna say it again in case you guys didn't hear it. It's Kamala is how you say her name. I might accidentally say Kamala because there is a Marvel superhero named Kamala. And so every time and they spelled the same, so every time I see the name, that's how I pronounce it in my head. So I'm gonna try to say Kamala, but it's something I have to think about. So I'm not trying to like mispronounce her name to be a dick, or insensitive. I'm set in my ways, okay? And so, so Kamala, see, I did it already.
Yep.
Kamala will, she's the vice president, so she's going to take over. A lot of people are crying foul for that, like, because people have already been voting. Like, my dad already voted. Like, he did his mail-in vote. Like, you can already vote for who you want for president right now. And so a lot of people are crying foul and everything, and which I'm like, okay, but even if he would still have her as his vice president, so I don't understand. Like, normally, if you're gonna vote for someone, basically the people crying foul are Republicans. There's no liberals or Democrats crying foul that now all their votes are by. It's Republicans getting mad that now this like black woman, mixed race woman, is gonna get all these votes now. And I understand that's me calling them racist. It's because I fucking am, because they're like they purposely mispronounce her name just to be a dick. They saying she's only is where she is because she slept her way to the top. All this misogyny bullshit. And I think it's because like
we love that trope.
I think it's because she was in a relationship. Like, I kind of looked into it. I'm like, what does that mean? So I looked into it, and it's like she was in a relationship with, I don't know if it was the mayor or something, but she was in a relationship when she got this job. I think it was like somewhere in California, like San Francisco maybe. And so I'm like, okay, yes, like she could have gotten that job because that was her boyfriend at the time. It's not her current husband. Like, that was her boyfriend at the time. But to say like she just slept her way to the top is very disingenuous. To me, that doesn't really. It's like, okay, you could say that about any woman that just happens, or anybody that just happens to be in a relationship with somebody and happens to get a job in that realm. It's like, okay, whatever. I don't really have that much opinions about it. But I'm, like I said, I don't really care. Like, I'm more right now voting for Kamala, like, more as like, I don't want Trump. I don't want Project 2025 as much as he claims he has no idea what Project 2025 is. He has no idea who's behind it. It's like, sir, 140 of their staff worked for you, and you don't know who's behind Project 2025. Okay, whatever. But, you know, he's been documented telling thousands of lies in the span of a few years, so whatever.
I'm not going to comment on Project 2025 because
I am.
I don't know. I'm only saying this because I'm trying, and we'll get into this in the episode. I'm trying not to comment on things that I have no education on. I want to learn about it. I'm going to learn about it. I'm going to spend time actually figuring out what it is, understanding it, but I don't want to give much of my input on that particular thing because I have zero understanding or education on it. Only thing I know about it is that people are freaking out about it and are upset about it, and from what I understand, it seems to be rightfully so. But I've not seen it. I don't know what it is, and I don't want to comment or say things or comment on things that I have zero understanding of.
Yeah,
not because I think it's bullshit, not because I don't believe what people are saying. I need to see it for myself to make my own conclusions, because that's the person that I'm trying to be, so that I'm not spreading misinformation and just going off of hearsay, right?
Yeah, I'll bring up what I've learned. I read about 150 pages of their mandate.
Okay.
Their mandate's over 900 pages, and I don't blame anyone for not reading all of it, but I kind of just like skimmed through. So in total, I probably read between 100 and 150 pages.
Okay.
Basically, it's hard to take it seriously. Like, it is a very serious thing, and these people are
Right.
quite powerful. They've been involved in politics since at least 1980 with Reagan. Reagan used their little booklet from his very first cabinet meeting. They love Republican presidents. So basically, it's over 900 pages. I read about 100 of it. Basically, it's hard to take it seriously by the very fact that every page, at least in the beginning, every page uses the word woke 2 to 3 times, and I'm just like, I
Oof.
can't take you seriously if you use the word woke in, like, a
Right.
derogatory way, because that's not what woke means. Woke does not mean anything I don't like. Like, that's not what woke means. And so but we can get more into it later, but, so
Yeah,
I'm
I'd like
more
to do
voting.
an episode on it. Like,
Yeah.
I would. I would like to do a whole episode on it when I know more. I would like to know more before I make much commentary on it. That's all. That's all I'm
Like,
saying.
yeah, like, I'll touch on some things about it. It's very,
Sure.
like, I know you haven't seen this, but it's very Handmaid's Tale, and me and Scott
Oh,
have watched Handmaid's Tale, and
I've never watched it, but I understand the
it's
premise.
yeah, and so it's a very scary thing. 'Cause Handmaid's Tale, like, most of the show takes place, like, after the main events happen that led to this, but it does have, like,
Okay.
flashbacks, and, like, the flashbacks are like, "Oh, no, this is basically what their little project is wanting to
Yikes.
happen." And so yeah, but that's really like, yeah, so her getting the nomination, I think, yeah, so basically I think they have to choose, and some people were like, "Well, you can't do that, like, people have to vote." Like, no, people don't vote for the nominee. It's the DNC that votes for, like,
Right.
they're the ones that now vote the nominee. Like, our votes don't even matter. That's, like, what the Electoral
No.
College is for. Like, some people in some states, like, and this is a whole other episode I could go on about the fucking Electoral College, like, a person in Wyoming, their vote is worth 3 times more than a person in California based on the
Right.
Electoral College. So that's complete bullshit. So um, see, I get real fired up about this. So it's more
Yeah,
like,
I
so
I
I'm
don't
not gonna
understand
say,
much about that either, so
yeah. So it's more like, and I've done a bunch of research about that,
yeah.
but it's more like, I'm not gonna say I'm with her, or because it's like I don't really like. Yes, I vote for politicians. Like, I vote for the side I want to vote for, but I'm not like, to me, like, politicians have become almost like celebrities, like
Yes.
superstars. I'm just glad she's not selling a bunch of fucking merch
Right.
like Trump does. Like, please don't do that. If you start selling a bunch of merch and have your little slogans on hats and t-shirts and bumper stickers and shit, I'm just beyond, like, Harris whoever 2024.
Right, right.
Yeah, I'm
Just the
not going to
normal
get
campaign shit.
yeah, I'm not into that. I don't
Yeah.
consider politicians to be superstars or celebrities, so miss me with that nonsense. So that's really basically what's happened the past week is Biden dropped out. Kamala is now, or will be. I don't know if she's officially the nominee yet. I mean, basically it's like a kind of de facto thing. Like, okay, the number one dropped out. Okay, now number two, you're up to bat, you go. So that's really all I got for that. But you wanted to get into the
Okay.
media?
Yeah, just more so my overall, like, feelings around how I feel things have gone over the last, I don't know, time is irrelevant, several years. We'll just say how I feel like it's becoming increasingly harder and harder to feel
Separate,
truly informed.
yeah, separate
Like,
fact from fiction. Like
correct.
fact from bias, basically.
Correct. And I don't just mean on one channel or another. I mean literally all of them. And like I want to use an example. Like we'll just say we'll type in Biden drops out of race, okay? Of we'll just type in Biden drops out to Google. Okay? We're going to Google it right now, live, and I'm going to put it on the thing.
We're doing it live.
Okay. We're doing it live.
Fuck it, we'll do it live.
Okay. I want you to see what this says. Like all these different news channels and all the different ways that all the different headlines, right? Okay. I'm going to put this on the screen. Okay. Okay. So all I typed in is Biden drops out into Google. Okay.
Yes.
First one we have, first thing is CNN. Doug Emhoff shares the moment he learned Biden dropped out of the race.
I don't know who Doug Emhoff is. Oh, second gentleman.
Is,
okay, so see, that's how much I pay attention. That's Kamala's
husband. Yes. Yeah. Yep. Okay, next one, PBS. Is it really unlawful to replace Biden on the Democratic ticket? Election law experts say no. And this one's New York Times. Biden dropped out 3 days ago. Ready or not, here come the polls. That's New York Times, I'm sorry. Forbes. Here's why Biden says he dropped out in first speech since leaving 2024 race. That's the closest headline so far to Biden drops out.
Yeah.
Like, I want to know what's going on with that. So I just typed in Biden drops out and it gives me, yes, it's going to give me different things around it. Okay, so that's just a few. So let me type in something a little more specific. Why did Biden drop out of the presidential race? Okay. Here we go. This is a very specific question.
Yeah, after disastrous to flame age.
Very specific question. AP News. Don't know who they are, but that's the first link. Okay.
I think
Biden drops out.
I think Associated Press.
Associated Press. There we go. Perfect. Biden drops out of 2024 race after a disastrous debate inflamed age concerns. VP Harris gets his nod. Second link is Forbes. Here's why Biden dropped out since his first speech. So that was the last link on the first thing that I searched. Okay. But it brought that one up. And this time it's the second link available. The third link is The Guardian. Biden explains decision to drop out of election. Best way to unite our nation. That seems pretty even. Okay.
I think The Guardian, isn't The Guardian British? Guardian news. I always want to say The Guardian is British, but I don't think it is. I just always assume it is. Oh, it is. Yeah, UK.
Okay. And then fucking BBC. George Clooney calls for Joe Biden to quit presidential race.
Which I will say, it was 2 weeks
ago.
It was 2 weeks ago. It was before he before he dropped out. So,
right. And some of this shit's from 2 weeks ago, 6 days ago. Politico is the one after that, and that's 6 days ago. 15 experts predict what Biden's dropout means for the 2024 election. 15 experts predict. Experts in what? First of all. And what are we predicting? And why? Why are we going to speculate? And why do 15 people have to speculate on the same thing?
Mm-hmm.
How the pressure grew for Biden to drop out. That's the New York Times. ABC News. What pushed President Biden to withdraw from the re-election race? NBC News. First Democratic senator calls for Biden to drop out. Highlights. CNN, July 21st. Presidential campaign news. Okay, that seems pretty benign. And then Al Jazeera. Biden vows to stay in race as more Democrats ask him to drop out. That was a week ago.
Yeah, that was probably before he did it.
It was before, right? So every one of these headlines is different, and some of them aren't even giving me what I'm asking for. That's just one example, right? Just one example. How are we supposed to know which one of those to click on and which one of those is going to have the most factual information and the least amount of conjecture and opinion and bias? Yes, you can say well, ABC News is known for being more liberal and Fox News is known for being more conservative, because that's pretty true statements, right? So you can pretty well rule out a few of them if you're not leaning that direction or the other. But what if you're truly a person who's just wants to know what the fucking facts are, what are you supposed to do? Because it seems like even the more benign sites are gonna have their own bias at some point in there.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I don't know. It's just really frustrating.
I will say part of it is because we did used to have what was called the fairness doctrine. Basically, I'm reading this from Wikipedia. I knew there's something that was rolled back, like it was taken away. So the fairness doctrine of the United States Federal Communications Commissions, the FCC, introduced in 1949, was a policy that required the holders of broadcast licenses both to present controversial issues of public importance and to do so in a manner that fairly reflected differing viewpoints. In 1987, so under Ronald Reagan, the FCC abolished the fairness doctrine, prompting some to urge its reintroduction through either commission policy or congressional legislation. The FCC removed the rule that implemented the policy from the Federal Register in August 2011. The fairness doctrine had two basic elements. It required broadcasters to devote some of their airtime to discussing controversial matters of public interest and to air contrasting views regarding those matters. Stations were given wide latitude in how to provide contrasting views. It could be done through news segments, public affairs shows, or editorials, blah, blah. So basically, it existed from 1949 to 1987. 1987 was conveniently about the time that Fox became a thing. Like 24-hour news stations started becoming a thing. But basically, I don't know. It says the reasoning. I don't really care to go into it, but why Reagan rolled it back. But that's partly why you get like news stations like Newsmax and OAN, which are ultra conservative, and why you can get I guess I could say like MSNBC is probably the most ultra liberal, but they're not as definitely not as like clear and about it than Newsmax. Newsmax is just basically neo-Nazi news, so for lack of a better term. But so that's probably why you'll get all this, like they don't really have to, they can show their bias and not have any repercussions for it.
That seems like something that didn't need to be taken away.
Nope.
That sounds to me like someone wanted that rule removed because it would make them a lot of money.
Yeah.
In becoming entertainment news instead of just news.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we have today. I feel like everything that we consume, you have to become your own expert, and even then you're still left in the dark on things, because unless there's video evidence of things being said and you're watching these things for yourself go down, or you're reading the laws, or you're reading the orders or whatever, like you said, like you're reading this project, was it 2025, is that what it's called, Project 2025? Yeah. If you're reading it yourself, or like you watched the video of the attempted assassination thing for Trump, or you watched videos of January 6th or whatever, you cannot rely on any of these news stations to give you the pure facts. It's going to be conjecture, opinion, and bias around a few factual pieces of information that hold up their biases. And that's not okay. That's not what the news should be. And it's frustrating to me because as someone who wants to truly be informed, I find it exhausting to have to pick through to find the fact among the fiction. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Am I off base here? Like, am I too cynical about the media at this point? Like, I do truly feel like there's very little that I can look at. Sorry. and draw a healthy, unbiased opinion from without reading several versions of the same article on the same topic and trying to figure out what, if any, of them have the same pieces of information in them that I could go, okay, maybe that's a fact because in every one of these, this was said, right? Like, it becomes a chore. You shouldn't have to go. It's almost like doing the WebMD, like becoming Dr. Google when you have a doctor that won't help you. Like,
Right.
I don't, you have to sift through the fiction to find the facts, and it's frustrating. That should not be a thing. It just shouldn't. I don't know. I don't know why this is so fucking hard to figure out. Like, why was that law taken away? That is not something that seems like it was hurting anybody, except for,
I think their reasoning was like government should not be involved in the news or whatever. I'm like, okay, you're right, but that's also like these people aren't going to tell all sides without some sort of regulation.
Yeah, that's not the government being involved. That's them being held accountable to inform the public in an unbiased way, presenting all sides of an argument. Because when you don't have that, you get this bullshit. You get entertainment news. You get experts. In what? What are you a fucking expert in? And why do we need 15 of you to predict an outcome of something? Because guess what? The other news channel's 15 experts are going to be predicting a completely fucking different thing. So who's really the expert here? Right. Do you know what I mean? Because y'all's experts say this is going to happen. But then their experts say this is going to happen. Well, if you're both experts and you're both saying two different things, who am I supposed to believe?
Right.
Somebody wrong. Do you know what I mean? One of y'all's got to be wrong because you can't both be right. You know what I mean? Like, I think, and another thing that I think irritates me about all this is they know, and by they, I mean like the collective they, these fucking media companies know that it's so much easier for someone to find a media outlet that supports their bias and then just get all their news from that, right? Because people are tired. Because most of the people watching this shit are the working class, are the people who are now, scared or worried, or you have something to lose or gain from these events that are happening in our country, the ones that these laws are going to affect the most, right? And they can use that fear and that anticipation to move the narrative along in the direction that they want them in, right? Like, they can move their narrative along with these people, and then they know that that person is going to go to work the next day and talk about all the shit they heard with their friend who believes the same bullshit. And then that friend's going to go tell their friend that believes the same bullshit. And then you got the game of telephone going on, right? And then somebody posted on Facebook, and now we're arguing with bitches on Facebook over some shit that ain't even what the original fucking thing was to start with, because that's how telephone works, right? Like, it's just frustrating. It creates the bullshit we currently live in. I didn't know about this law, and now I'm pissed that they took it away. Can we bring it back? That seems pretty fucking reasonable to me.
Like, I'm not claiming to be an expert, so people can be like, well, that's wrong. This is why we don't have it. It's like, I'm just telling you what I know of it and everything. So,
well, fuck, let's Google it. Let's Google it. Why? Fuckity fuck. Maybe we can get some more bullshit answers. Okay, let's Google it. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
What is it? Why was the what law is it called?
Fairness Doctrine.
Fairness Doctrine repealed. Here we go. The sordid history of the Fairness Doctrine.
Sounds like a romance novel. Sordid. Ooh. Like a Harlequin novel.
This is even worse than the Biden shit. Okay, look at this. Look at this. First one is the Cato Institute, which I don't know what that is. The sordid history of the Fairness Doctrine. Washington Post, perspective. The Fairness Doctrine won't solve our problems, but it can foster needed debate. USA Today, fact check. Fairness Doctrine only applied to broadcast licenses, not cable TV like Fox News. Reinstate the Fairness Doctrine. How big tech helps promote disinformation and how it can help stop it. That's Literary Hub. Washington Monthly, how the repeal of the Fairness Doctrine gave us Donald Trump. So, good God. So now that's Reagan's fault too. Which sure, maybe, who knows.
Again, like the one under Divided.
I click on?
Hold on, the one under Divided We Fall says exploring the Fairness Doctrine, its origin and impact. Seems like the most sensible headline. You scrolled past it already.
Did I? Okay, hold on.
It's down. Right there. It's the very bottom one, right? Nope.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah, like I just like the title. Like the title was the most sensible sounding.
Okay. This is by Donald Elliott, a distinguished adjunct professor at Antonin Scalia Law School.
He was a
at George Mason University.
Yeah, he was a Supreme Court justice.
Okay, so
you have to read it. I just like the headline seemed the most fair out of all of them.
Yeah, I mean, this has a lot of decent information, and it's not that long of an article, but seems very concise.
Well, there you go. The media's role in the rise of political polarization. Second one. There you go.
Yeah. Do you want to read that little bit? Because you're better at reading than me. I'll send you this and you can read it.
I can read it from here.
You can? Okay,
yeah.
Perfect.
It says, unfortunately, however, most people prefer to hear only opinions with which they agree, which is true. Hearing views with which we disagree is unpleasant because it creates cognitive dissonance, whereas hearing what we already believe to be true feeds our desire for confirmation bias. I am reminded of this aspect of human nature every time I try to listen to CNN or MSNBC, and my wife starts yelling talking points from Fox News back at the TV. Despite substantial First Amendment concerns and the fact that the FCC's old fairness doctrine never worked well in practice, we should bring back a new and improved fairness doctrine. It should be a statement of national policy that journalists, both print and electronic, should cover both sides of controversial issues. Political polarization has been attributed to the loss of the end of the fairness doctrine, so we should remind all journalists that they play an important role in our system of government. They inform the voting public, but they can only perform this essential civic function if arguments, both pro and con, are widely disseminated. That's really what the Fairness Doctrine was about. Not fairness, but the journalist's duty to inform the public accurately and fully.
Great. Okay. Why is this not a thing?
Because it doesn't make money.
But that's fucked up. This is the problem. This is the problem.
Capitalism.
Yes, goes back to capitalism. Here we go. Full circle. Full circle. So I will link that in the show notes because that's a short read, but it's very informative, it seems like. So we'll link that in the show notes. But for fuck's sake, this is it not? Am I the only one frustrated by this?
Mm-hmm.
Does this not frustrate you? Is this something you think about, or am I the only person laying awake at night irritated that I can't find out information I want to find out without having to become a fucking private detective?
I think especially on social media, because say Facebook, anyone can share any link they want to, within reason. Obviously, it can't be harmful ones, but any news link. They can share any news link, so anyone on their friends list can see whatever news link they share, which is fine. It's more of a lot of these are like inflammatory headlines to get people to rage click or just rage in the comments about like probably 9 times out of 10 when I see, especially if it's on local news pages, which if you want to dive into any cesspool, go visit your local news Facebook page. It is atrocious. And so that's where they all come out of the woodwork. So they can just post a headline, either not the full headline, which gets you on to clicking on it, but to post a headline that is tangentially related to what's going on. Like, yes, you could say this is a headline for that story, but it's meant to make you mad. And so you can tell who read the story and who didn't. And so like 9 times out of 10, I'll like, if I see something like that and people are like rage commenting, I'll be like, you didn't read the article, did you? Or you didn't watch the full video, did you? Obviously you didn't. You just read the headline. So I feel like at least make the headline not like a rage inducing headline. Like, just state the fact of what happened, what the story's about. Like, not like, not to just make people mad just for the sake of making them mad. And so, or rage clicking, because it gets, like, I understand that that's how they make money, to get people to click on it, but most people who are gonna rage comment did not read the fucking article. They're only gonna read the headline. Reading is hard for them. Okay, you can't. You have to do, like, make it as vague as possible if you want, but just use like moderate language and make it vague so they have to read the article. I think that's one way to do it. Just make them to where they have to read the article and understand. You could just say like 1, 2, 3, 4, and they'd be like, "What the fuck does that mean? Let me look at the article." And there you go. You got people to read your article. Like, yeah. So
I don't know. It's frustrating to me. I get very upset, which I know I've said like 13 times, but it doesn't help anything when we talk about, with the whole Trump thing that happened. Sorry, I have to burp again. The whole Trump thing that happened, a lot of the talk was around, it's time to calm down this language we're using around people, and saying things are dangerous that aren't dangerous, and calling people, using inflammatory language essentially around things that it doesn't apply to truly, right? Because it's fostering extremism. The problem, yes, is the politicians do say these things, but then the media takes it and makes it further inflammatory, or will take what was said and make it mainstream and give it more attention, and then it becomes extra inflammatory, and then more people see it. And because it's clickbait, right? And they make the rage posts, the rage titles, so that you'll click on it because every click is a money in their pocket, right? It's because it's fueled by capitalism and not by information, right? Like, not by the need to inform, but by the need to make money. It is doing the country as a whole a disservice. Exactly. Like, should our information be government controlled? Hell no. That's its own problem, right? Because then we only know what they fucking want us to know.
Right.
That's not what I'm saying.
That's how we get North Korea.
Correct. We don't want to do that either. But there is a fucking nice somewhere between there that could at least hold these media companies accountable for saying things that are so fucking inflammatory and untrue. Like, where is the accountability? There is zero.
It's not regulated, so there is none.
Right. There is none. So there is not, you have to have regulation, because without it, it's fucking anarchy.
even like bare bones regulation. Like without regulation, like we wouldn't have the EPA. So people are mad. Like some people are mad at the EPA. Like, well, that just restricts like corporations and businesses. And it's like, okay, it restricts them from literally polluting the
fucking planet.
Like literally pouring toxic waste into rivers that people use and lakes and the ocean
so that they can make more money.
Yeah, so it's like anytime someone is against like certain regulations, it's because it's a money factor. It's like, well, that's just the government. That's like, cue them like waving their stupid snake flag. Don't tread on me. I am Snake. And so,
I'm Snake.
I'm Snake. I'm Snake. Don't step on me, please.
I'm a snaky snake.
I'm a sticky snake. But also, can I just a little tangent? Can I just find it funny the people that are all about like when people have "Don't tread on me" next to a thin blue line flag as a bumper sticker? I'm like, the police would literally tread on you. Just want to point that out. Anyway, so the
especially
so like
if you're waving the weapon in their face,
right? Exactly, and the or if you have a pot of boiling water on a stove, but the
okay, hold on. Slow down. That's a whole other conversation for another day.
I'm not getting that conversation, but he was wrong. Okay, bye.
No, that I'm not defending him. No, that is not what's happening here.
Okay,
that is not what the hold on was for. That is not what the hold on was for. Absolutely not. That is a deplorable monster. I will not even call him a fucking human. We'll get into that in a minute. Finish your thought.
So, but basically the people that are against like certain regulations, like, yes, the government can get in too deep into like regulating things or limiting things. I understand that, but I think like probably like 95% of the times people are against regulations for things because one, they want to be dicks and can't be dicks anymore. Or two, it just impedes on their money making capabilities. Like, or at least it not necessarily impedes, but basically just makes it hard for them to make as much money as they fucking possibly can.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. For sure. I agree. But since you brought it up, I do want to talk about it.
Okay.
Because that is something else that went on. We did have the just absolutely fucking tragic murder of Sonya Massey occur in my area. I live near the town that this happened in. And there are not words to describe how deplorable of a monster the disgusting, nasty thing that murdered her is. Like, that is a subhuman thing. The words of my husband is that he is a subhuman thing. I am absolutely shocked that someone could be so blatantly disregarding of another human life in that way as to have absolutely zero reason to have done what he did, which is murder her. Because that's what he did.
Yeah, after she called the police for help.
Correct.
I can read a report if you want.
Yeah, please do.
Like, this is from a Facebook post. This is like a freelance journalist. So Sonya had called the sheriff's department on July 6th because she thought there was a prowler in her yard. The deputy below did find broken windows, and when they say deputy below, they mean the officer pictured, which is actually the officer that held her, was not the one that shot her, because they refused to like show that. They were basically, she did the thing of, here's the good officer, I'm not gonna post the bad officer because he doesn't deserve it. So the deputy below did find broken windows in the car next to her house, which obviously would appear as if someone broken into a vehicle or there was a prowler. He did not pound on her door. He did not treat her differently because she was acting paranoid. When she called 911 while they were there, he did not demand for this dispatcher to hang up with her like Deputy Dickhead did. He understood Sonya was not feeling well. The deputy below tried to keep Deputy Dickhead calm, but it's obvious Dickhead was already upset because Massey took 2 minutes to answer her door so she could get dressed. She was never aggressive or angry. She was trying to find her ID when Deputy Dickhead brought up a pot of water to her, something she wasn't looking at or even thinking about. In fact, all three were a full room away from the water. Sonya was seated in the living room. She took the water off the stove and put down the pot of hot water as she was asked to do. Out of nowhere, Dickhead threatens to shoot her in the expletive face several times while she holds her hands up and says, "I'm sorry." She had said she was rebuking him in the name of Jesus. She did not have the pot in her hands whatsoever. She didn't threaten him with the water. It was to her right several feet away. She was a mentally ill woman just talking. The pot would have stayed on the counter if Deputy Dickhead had not shot it when he shot Sonya. Thank God for the body cam footage, or he would have tried to say she had it in her hands or was threatening him with it. That is what he did on the scene. "I'm sorry," those are her last words. She was cowering in fear with absolutely no weapons when her life was taken. The deputy who took her life said he wasn't going to waste his med kit on her. Instead, he was trying to cover his tracks during those crucial minutes after he struck her in the face with a round after firing 3 rounds towards her. She was on the ground with her hands up when she was shot. Not because she was asked to go on the ground, but because she was cowering in fear. Just like Sonya and the photographed deputy below, I have no clue why Dickhead did this. I believe everyone who watches this will understand why she cowered in fear. I've never seen anyone, deputy or otherwise, behave so cold, callous, and insulting. And he also, Deputy Dickhead called good deputy a dipshit because he would not help him hide what he did. He would not go along with it. So, So basically, just another day in America, unfortunately, and looks like he actually is being charged. I told Ray and Micah. I said usually police, when they shoot somebody, they usually get a paid vacation, or suspension as they call it. It's a paid vacation, and so that's usually what they get when they commit like murder, basically.
Yeah,
not a justified shooting. It was murder. Like, she literally called you guys for help, and this is what you do.
Correct. He was disgustingly out of line. And what he actually said was, "I'm not going to waste my med kit on that bitch." On that crazy bitch.
He kept calling her crazy bitch. That was at the beginning. She, like, the person had a bunch of story before that, but yeah, he kept calling her crazy bitch and everything.
Right.
And it's just like, come on, man.
He knew he was on dash cam, so he obviously didn't care.
Yeah. I don't know if and sometimes like it will happen where, which I'm surprised he didn't let this happen. It will happen where police will their body cam will magically stop working, and it'll turn off right before an incident, or the footage will mysteriously disappear. So, but luckily,
it doesn't matter because the other officer had his running too.
Yeah.
So
I'm just glad the other guy didn't, because the whole we can't blame a whole department or a whole profession on a few bad apples. I'm like, a few bad apples spoiled the bunch. Like, if it's just, I don't have a good analogy, but and so, like, luckily I'm just glad the other guy didn't go along with it. Like, he was not a piece of shit. So I hope he gets like accommodation. Like, I hope he doesn't get railed by his department and the other cops, because a lot of times if a cop tries to go against another cop, they get fucking bullied, like, and basically to the point where they have to quit or the fear for their lives. And it's terrible.
This has rocked an entire community and Sonya's family and the Black community in our area. I'm a white woman. I'm another white woman's tears are not necessary in this situation, nor is my input or opinion, I'm sure. But I have someone who I met when I was working who is a Black business owner, woman, and she made a video talking about true trauma she has to now process through because this happened in her area, and now she is concerned that this could happen to her,
Mhm.
which is understandable.
'Cause
And
I've seen posts even from, like, friends, like, because I like Black friends on Facebook and stuff that I have, or, like, obviously, like, real life Black friends. Like, they'll post, say, like, or share posts saying, "If I'm ever in trouble, don't call the police. Call literally anyone else. Don't
yeah,
call the police for me if I'm in trouble."
and that's fucked up.
There's also not enough officers, like, middle of the road officers,
Sure,
neither bad nor good, who speak out
I agree.
who, like, they'd rather, like, "Oh, I see this officer doing bad things, I'm not gonna say anything, though, because then
I agree.
my ass will be on the line."
I
So,
understand.
like, one way I know, like, I think in the Illinois, you can be a cop from now to 4 months from now. It takes 4 months. I think on average, basic training and stuff, academy takes 6 months or less to become a police
Yeah.
officer, whereas cosmetology school takes what, like 2 years? A
Yeah, I
year?
don't agree with that.
Yeah, so it's like, and I'm not saying hairstylists are, I'm not naming hairstylists
No,
less
but
less
it's
than,
in
but the fact that
comparison,
it
you should.
becomes, because it takes 4 to 5 times longer to become a hairstylist than it does
Right,
to be a police officer, that's fucked up.
right. I
That's
agree.
fucked up.
I agree.
There should be like I'm sure they may take some sort of psych evaluation, or at least they should if they don't.
Now, the community, yet again, has to recover from trauma and now has to, yet again, try to work through trauma and fear of anyone wearing a badge, whether that person has bad intentions for them or doesn't, because of what these people do.
Right. And
Their trauma is valid.
I
Their
I thought
fears
of
are valid.
I thought of this really random weird analogy as you're going with that. It's kind of like, say you have tacos
Right.
100 times, no problems. One time you eat tacos gives you food poisoning, then you no
Yep.
longer want to trust any other taco. No matter if
Yep.
every other taco was good, you no longer want to, you're like, "Oh, a taco? Nope." Or like,
Yep.
say, like, you, I know a lot of people with tequila. Tequila, like, it's like, "Oh, tequila fucked me up once, never drinking tequila again." Or like, if I every
Never
time
again.
I see tequila, it makes me want to barf or something. It's like, it's kind of like,
Mhm.
that's a really weird analogy, but it's like going through 100 tacos, not having any problem eating one taco, and not trusting tacos for either your life or a very long time.
Right. And that's understandable.
Mhm.
I will never ever look at a black person and say, "You don't have the right
To
to
be
be
upset.
traumatized
Yeah.
or be upset." Never would I ever say that. I would never look at my friend who posted that video and say, "You're overreacting.
Why
You
don't
should
you
calm
calm
down."
down? Yeah, why don't you calm down?
Never. Because she shouldn't, and she has every right to feel what she feels, and I cannot sympathize because I have not been in her shoes, nor will I pretend to, but I can recognize that this is real for her. And because I've never been in her shoes and because I will never struggle with what she will struggle with in her life simply because of the color of her skin, what I have to say about it doesn't fucking matter.
Right.
That's just the truth of it. And how I feel about it doesn't fucking matter because I'm not the one that this affects at the end of the day. I'm not.
No.
And it's also why I struggle to really comment much on situations like this. And everyone's saying, well, the silence is compliance. And it's like, I understand that. and I'm with you on that in many ways. However, I struggle with taking a stand on certain things or saying something that might be misconstrued as like either virtue signaling or like
I hate that
I
term,
don't
virtue signaling.
I know, or but you know what I mean? Like I don't want to be just one more white person spouting off at the mouth. Do you know what I mean? Like
I was like, oh look,
I
another white lady giving her opinion. Who would have thought?
correct. Because my demographic will not struggle with that. Because simply for the color of my skin. And that's fucked up. That's fucked up. That simply because she was born a black woman, there's going to be things about her life that she will struggle with unnecessarily that I will never struggle with. And that is fucked up. And should not be a thing. And my heart hurts for her and for that community, and to see the pain in her eyes was just so, like, I just wanted to cry with her watching the video. They do not understand the impact that this has when these officers are making these awful fucking stupid decisions like they're making. They do not understand the ripple effect that this has. Not only on the black community, but also on their fellow officers. Now both of these communities have more shit to wade through that neither of them need.
Right.
Right? Like, people in both communities that should never have to worry about their safety or people hating them simply because of what they do or the color of their skin, right? Like, now have more shit to fucking worry about that they didn't fucking need. They have enough. You know what I mean? Like, they have enough.
It's like, don't add, their plate's full. Don't add more to it.
Right. And I am not comparing the plight of Black America to the plight of police officers. So please don't come at me for that. I'm just saying.
They can't take their skin off at the end of the day.
Correct. I'm just saying. Now there are two communities that have extra shit they have to worry about unnecessarily.
And they're also not opposites, because like there obviously are, like, you know, black officers and stuff, right. And there are black people that like police officers, so it's not like they're opposites. Like the whole,
like, my God, think about how that's affecting the black police officers. Like,
right.
Like, now you have to serve and protect and watch people in your community be wrongfully murdered by people wearing the uniform you wear every day. Like, God damn. God, talk about some cognitive fucking dissonance in that one. Like, that's gotta be a mind fucking a half and difficult to fucking navigate. Like, I'm and like, good for them for continuing to do what they gotta do, but like, that's probably gotta be fucking difficult to have to deal with that shit.
And
you know
also,
what I mean?
I don't know if I mentioned her name. I just said she was a freelance journalist, but in case, I don't think she'd ever obviously see this video, but just in case, her name was Sarah Boyles, Boyles, and she's the one that wrote the post that I read from. She lives in Illinois. Yeah, she lives in Illinois. She has a Facebook following right now of 76,000 followers. But yeah, she's an Illinois-based journalist that writes about local breaking news. In addition to national breaking news and national cold cases, she interviews victims, investigates different crimes. She's known to help victims tell their stories. So Sarah Boyles.
Perfect. Yeah, we'll link that in the show notes for you guys if you want to check that post out and check Sarah out. So I definitely we couldn't do this without mentioning that. So I just want, first of all, say Sonya Massey, because she was a person. She had a name, and we're going to use it. And we're going to call the other thing just that. A thing.
Deputy Dickhead.
Deputy Dickhead, a subhuman.
Like, I wish she would have mentioned who the officer was. She did not mention who the good officer was. I wish she did, but I don't know his name, unfortunately. But Deputy Dickhead is the one that shot her. I don't say his name. He doesn't deserve it. I know his name.
I don't know if they ever released his name.
Yeah, which is weird. It's like, I'm sure it's somewhere, but it'd be weird if they didn't, because it's like, why? I don't know if they were worried about retaliation or something, or privacy or something.
Privacy, probably.
Because if he's on, because if he's on
because
the
it's high
camera,
profile.
Because if he's on the camera, you would, unless they blurred it or something. But I didn't watch the video. I didn't want to watch the video. Like, I understand that it's like, well, you don't completely understand. You watch the video. I'm not gonna watch a video of some innocent woman getting shot in her kitchen or something, and like in her house. I'm not gonna do that. I don't want to do that to myself.
Yeah. And I understand the privilege we have in being able to say we don't want to watch it.
Yeah.
I have not watched it. My husband has watched it. He had to. But I don't know. I don't know if I can.
Like, yeah, it's like, it's one of those things like, I don't want to say, like, I understand what happened. Like Sarah gave a good, like, description of what happened. Like, I can imagine what happened. I don't need to see it. I don't need to see a lady shot in the face.
I didn't even want to watch what went down with old Cheeto Man. Yeah, so like
I didn't watch that video. Like I said, I didn't watch any. I don't like
watching
videos.
It be depicted in movies. I have a hard time with that in general. But I mean, maybe I'll make myself uncomfortable and force myself to watch it at some point. But I hate to end it on a somber note, but
so far I haven't, because so far, like, tying it back to the media, I haven't really seen, I'm sure there has been media coverage of it, like obviously local coverage, but it's like all the coverage I've seen of it was just people, like, all the coverage I've seen of it, like at least in my timeline, was just friends. Like, I didn't even know what happened. All I saw was a meme saying like Sonya Massey was her name or something, or her name was Sonya Massey, or say her name and stuff, and I'm like, okay, I'm assuming this is another police involved shooting. And then it wasn't until I saw, and it wasn't until I saw Sarah's post that I was like, oh, that's what happened.
Yeah, it's world news at this point.
Yeah.
She was a year older than you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I knew she wasn't that old.
36. So it's hard.
Mm-hmm.
Even his mugshot, to look at it, he's literally like, and what?
Yeah, what do you think that's gonna do for me? Like, what do you think
that's the happen? Face? Like, here, look at this. I'll share my screen. This is the fucking face of this man. He could give a fuck less. Look at his smug ass face.
Yeah.
Could just care. You just care less.
Mm-hmm.
Knew what he did. But yeah, ABC News.
Yeah, I knew.
Joe Biden made a statement about it.
Yeah, I figured it was now. It's just like so far, like at least after the first, like within the first week, I'm like, I don't know what happened. Like,
yeah, The Atlantic called it the worst police shooting video ever.
Yeah, that's why it's like I don't want to watch it. Like, I don't want to watch. Like, I'll watch it fine in like action movies, you know, like that's fake. I don't want to watch a real person getting shot. Like, I don't want to do that. And so it's like I don't think I'm ever gonna watch it. I don't want to witness that sort of thing. So
yeah.
Also, it's like, to me, that's like watching the worst moment of someone's life. I don't want to watch the worst moment of someone's life happening. It's like watching, like, not necessarily 9/11 videos, but videos of the people jumping from the towers. Like, you're watching the worst moment of this person's life as it's ending. I don't want to watch that.
Yeah. I just, I don't know. It just, to look at him, it just, the smug fucking look on his face. You just want to.
And he just looks like, it looks like he looks like he was like the high school quarterback. Like, he has that look, like he was the high school,
he's
30. Or he was the school bully. He looks like he was the school bully.
Yeah. He's only 30 years old. And that's the choices he's fucking making.
Yep. Good job, dude.
Like, I just don't understand. But I'm not meant to, I guess. I don't know. It's disgusting. But
well, unfortunately, we don't really have a way.
Wrong to like go into the fun and fuckery portion after we talk about this.
Yeah, we don't really have a good segue into it.
I know. We probably should have talked about this first, so that we didn't have such a.
To be fair, I brought it up randomly, and so I brought it up of saying or a pot of water or a pot of boiling water, but I mean, we don't have to do a Mad Lib today. We can wait to do it for next week if you want to save it and just kind of end it and do a little, like, in honor of Sonya Massey thing. I don't care.
I don't know. What do you think we should do?
Just seems wrong otherwise. I feel like then doing a little ditty of "This is the fun and fuckery portion."
Yeah, I don't feel right doing it either.
Yeah,
like what a somber moment. And here, let's talk about some dumb shit.
It's like, well, anyway, enough of that depressing shit. Let's go on to this.
Okay, so
executive decision, live actions, executive decision.
Yeah, so in honor of that and allowing that moment to sit how it is, we are not going to fun and fuckery today.
Nope.
We're going to.
You just have the juicy middle bit.
Yeah, you just get the juicy middle bit today. That's fine. We're gonna let that
one sit
fly how it is. Just know that there's a special place in prison for people like him.
Yeah, I told when I asked Nikki about it, I told her, I'm like, he's gonna be like a very soon prison bitch. Like, either because I don't think, well, it depends on like how well the prison guards try to protect him. But I don't know if the prison guards will be the type of prison guards like you put a bad name on all law enforcement, because prison guards tend to be worse than police officers. So it's like basically police officers and people who mess with children. Those are the fastest prison bitches you'll ever find. Like he's not want to drop the soap at any point. Keep his back to the wall at any.
I doubt he'll be in general population.
I hope they put him in general population.
I hope they do.
Yeah, don't give him solitary.
Because that's what he deserves.
Yeah, he doesn't deserve solitary.
No, he does not deserve it. I hope they do. And I hope he enjoys it.
Yeah, and it's not like a stupid like 5-year sentence either. Like, they usually give these kind of guys like, well, like, like a year and like 5 years probation.
No, he's getting his. Sir. Don't you worry. He's getting his. Don't you worry.
Yeah.
And the death penalty is the easy way out for him. He deserves Gen Pop.
I don't think Illinois has a death penalty, does it? I don't know.
I don't know if we do anymore either, but like, if we don't, thank God, because I'll gladly pay to let him sit in jail for life. Mm-hmm. You put that on my tax bill and like, put him in Gen Pop.
I will gladly 1% of all my taxes can generally fund his stupid ass. Okay,
that's right. Put him in Gen Pop.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
It's like I will donate.
See how quick that motherfucker lasts.
I will donate 5%. Okay, I will do 1%, but I will raise you 5% if he gets to go to Gen Pop. Okay.
I mean, well, you know what though? Actually, that might not be a good idea, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because they might unalive him.
That's true. Like they did.
So he might need to avoid it.
Right. But I mean, if he gets beat up a lot
solitary
in the meantime,
that's not great either.
No.
That shit's it's fucky on your mental health, man. That is the worst. That's like fucking torture. That is like the worst version of a prison sentence you can get is solitary. So it's I don't know.
We just hope he
Maybe
suffers.
solitary is what we want.
He needs to do a little
He needs to
suffering in there.
suffer. He needs to think long and fucking hard every single day about what he fucking did and sit there till he's old and fucking gray and dies there. That's what he needs to fucking do.
Right.
You took her life, you're gonna spend yours in the box. Motherfucker. In orange. Hope it's your color.
Yep. Hope you're a summer color, okay? Let's go.
Yeah. They need to send him to fucking Leavenworth while they still make him break rocks on a fucking chain gang. For real. Put that motherfucker to work. Disgusting human. Anyway, we're gonna leave it at that. Because it's almost 11 p.m.
I know, and you haven't really yawned.
I didn't yawn one time, not once. I've burped a lot, but no yawns. Oh, caffeine!
Yeah.
I am the caffeinated. It's on the trick.
And your schedule's been fucked up. This is probably prime for you.
Yeah, for sure. I have several more many things I could do tonight. So I have a lot of sketches I have to get done for designs for jewelry. So my dad knows what to order me for wire and all sorts of shit. And I have market research I have to finish too. And a Facebook page and an Instagram to set up. So
well, try to get that all done tonight. Get some sleep.
Oh, tonight. That's not gonna all happen tonight. Don't you worry. I can't. There's no way. So what probably should happen is I'd probably take my stupid ass to sleep. So that tomorrow I can do all of those things. But you know that's not what's gonna happen.
No.
So I will at least do 1 to 2 of those things tonight before I go to bed. So all right. I love you.
Love you.
We love you, our listeners.
People.
Our
viewers or whatever. Like, hopefully we'll be on YouTube again soon. I mean,
yeah.
Like last episode, we're recording this July 27th, so
yeah.
We'll see. I think we just have a few more days in YouTube jail before they let us post.
Yeah, hopefully soon. But we will link that article and all of that in the post that we were doing in the article in the show notes for you guys. Check that out. Please take care of yourselves during this time. If you are a member of the Black community or you are incredibly sensitive to things that are going on right now, maybe take a media break. Get off of socials maybe for a little bit, get off of the news, give yourself a little mental health break. Sometimes it's necessary if you are a deeply feeling human like I am and like Amanda is. Just sometimes we need a little disconnect break. And I understand that we have a lot of privilege in that statement. But if you are able to do so, take a little break. If you're a member of the Black community, you all know what to do. I'm not going to tell you what to do with yourselves. But just know that we are hurting for you and we are terribly disgusted by this situation. And we pray for a nice, long suffering for this man.
Both here and the afterlife.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, we're going to go now. We love you all. Take care of yourselves. And we will see you next week. Goodbye.
Okay, bye.